Dort. This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk. This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
I'm Josh Giddey, and I'm down to dunk.
Hey, this is Kenny Hustle, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Darius Baisley, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Poku, and I'm down to dunk.
I love cereal. Captain Crunch, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, Cracklin' Oat Bran.
Oh, I can have these. I'm going to share with my team, but I'm going to hog most of them.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. Oh my gosh, I'm having so much trouble on the stream right now. With me, as always, is my good friend, Alex Spears. Alex, what's up?
What's up, Andrew?
It's a big day.
It's the biggest tank war we may have ever had, at least since that Clippers game last year.
Yeah, yes, and we lost in that tank war.
But so, tonight would be nothing without the loss to the Magic on Sunday. So we got to give it up for getting us here, getting us this far.
Oh, that was dicey too, man.
I had kind of given up.
That was one of the worst viewing experiences ever. It was just a miserable watch.
Do you find yourself, because I listen to other teams' podcasts, and I feel like every other bad fan base is operating from the assumption that they're going to be the ones that get lucky in the lottery.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it maybe because we've been screwed before, or maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just being a pessimist, but I just assume that bad things are going to happen in the lottery. I can't even imagine us getting a top 3 pick and getting one of those 3 guys.
I know. I'm resided to the 5th pick and being the team that has to choose from the pile of misfit toys on the other side over here. That's my grand assumption, is that we're going to be choosing between like AJ Griffin and whoever else is there.
Yeah, that's how I feel. And so that carries over to these games, like that game against the Magic. I just given up. I was just like, well, this isn't happening. That's too bad. But
I had hope just because of the guys that were out there. It was like, some bad things could happen with this crew. Some bad things could happen with these guys.
But I did. So yesterday was like the first nice day in Portland in like months. It was like 65. Nice. And so went to happy hour, which we can do again. We don't have a mask mandate anymore.
Nice.
It's so exciting. So we were at a bar, and everyone's enjoying the outdoors, and I had the freaking Magic Warriors game on my phone, just propped up on a beer glass, just watching that, because that's all I cared about. It was really sad.
That is really sad.
People we were with are like, is your team on? I was like, no.
Nope.
Not
interested.
This game actually means nothing in the grand scheme of things. It's just a stupid game. But I care a lot.
Yeah, I worried that Monday night was going to be just a complete blowout, and it was going to be a miserable game, and it started out that way. They were up 13-0.
Oh, the Celtics game.
Yeah, Celtics. I'm kind of looking around like, oh boy,
yeah.
Why did I even show up for this? That's my thought. And then Trey just went off, man. That was one of the more fun games in a loss, from a guy like that in a really long time. I thought it was incredible watching him do everything that he did.
Yeah, it was a blast because it started off with just like, Krejci hit him in the corner on a driving kick, and it was like, it's a corner 3, no big deal.
Right.
And then it just started building on itself.
It did.
And then you started getting the heat checks from the top of the key, which
the
were just so
after
cool.
The 2 step backs. I had to ask him specifically about that one. I was like, you just have to walk me through something specific, like this specific shot, because people are yelling in the crowd, like heat check.
Yeah.
He's like, I didn't hear anybody say anything, but he said that he was really trying to play it cool. He said I was like trying to hold back a smile the whole time because,
really?
Yeah. But it was such a fun game. It was so cool to see him play so well. And he set like all these like rookie, like extremely specific rookie records, for the Thunder.
Well,
you know,
honestly, like the only downside of that game, which of course me being negative, was that
there's a
he
downside to this one.
he like ties the record, and then you're like so excited, and then you learn that he tied Poku, and you're like, how is this possible on a team with
Mhm.
KD, Harden, and Russ? Like, you want that to have like some oomph to it. Like, he just broke James Harden's rookie record,
Right.
and you want to feel like amazing about it. And it's like, no, he broke like tanking Poku from last year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so he did break Russell Westbrook's single game record for
Like for points, for
For
overall
points.
points.
Yeah. That's cool.
That's good. That's a good one.
James Harden's high as a rookie was 26, which is just kind of mind blowing to think about that. He was way up and down. I went back and looked at his basketball reference page, and he was all over the place. Like he'd go like 5 games, like single digits, and then he would blow up and have like 2 20-point games. But yeah, he was incredibly inconsistent his rookie season, but he was playing off the bench for a good team. So it's just way different. The context is incredibly different. I wanted to go through some non-specific stats and see if you can guess who led, like who is the rookie who has like the most 3-point attempts or the most made threes or the most rebounds and stuff like that. So
okay, this is just in Thunder history. You're not gonna include
no.
Seattle,
not including Seattle, which includes Kevin Durant. So
and Jeff Green,
who would probably be on this list a lot. Actually, he was good his first few years. Okay,
all right.
What about 3-point field goals? So made threes. Who is number 1 in made threes as a rookie in Thunder history?
I believe it's Alex Abrinas.
It is not Alex Abrinas.
It's not anymore.
No. That was as of, and this is a huge hint, before the end of last year, he would have been number 1, but he's not anymore.
So does that mean it's Poku?
It's not Poku. Poku is 5th.
Is it Teo?
It's Teo Maladon. 105 made threes last
So
year.
that must have been why we were so excited going into the, because I was looking back. I mean, we talked about it. Like his stats at the end of last year weren't like blowing you away, but
Yeah.
obviously we were excited a little bit going into the summer. That must have been one of the reasons why.
Here's the top 10 since in the Thunder era. So no Durant, no Jeff Green. Number 1, Teo, 105. 2, Alex Abrinas with 94. 3, James Harden with 93. Trey Mann is number 4. He'll pass if he makes a 3 tonight. He will pass James Harden on this list tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Poku was 58. Josh Giddey 56. Sabonis 51. JRE 50. Baisley 49. Terrence Ferguson 40. So Russ made 35 threes his rookie season. Lou Dort it wasn't a ton of games, only made 30. But it's just wild. Like Reggie Jackson, his rookie season, made 13 threes. Jeremy Lamb, his rookie season here, 9 threes.
Oh, I mean, like if Russ was coming into the league now, even with him not being a shooter, like he would have like easily broken this record. Or like James Harden coming into the league now would have been taking like at least 4 or 5 threes a game as a rookie.
Serge Ibaka, guess how many threes he made his rookie season?
2.
1.
1.
And one under Robertson, 2. It's wild. Okay. 3-point attempts, the list is similar, as you would expect. Teo Maladon took 313 threes. The next highest is Trey Mann, actually, with 260. So he took a crap ton of shots.
Gosh, so if Trey goes like on a burner and is just shooting like 8 threes a game, we're gonna get the stat like he has passed Teo.
It's just almost not even worth saying.
Okay, all right.
Okay, so overall field goal attempts for a rookie in Thunder history.
I'm assuming it's Russ.
It's Russ by like a freaking mile.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
1,095 shots his rookie season.
Which that's like, because I was actually just looking at this. I think Shea is around like 1,200 or 1,100 shots this season. So to put that in context,
Yeah, it's crazy. Who do you think is? See if you can guess the top 5. Who else is in the top 5?
Top 5 for rookies, just field goal attempts. That's hard because you said the gap is so big, so it could be guys that. I mean, I'm guessing Harden.
Harden's number 4, 578. He took half the number of shots that Russ did.
Yeah. So Teo must be on there.
Teo's number 3, 615.
Man,
there's a hint right there for yourself.
What?
Man.
Oh, Trey Mann.
Trey Mann,
is
number
he 5th?
Number 5, 561.
So who's second? Who is second?
Josh Giddey is number 2.
Really? Okay.
70 field goal attempts is number 2.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He's getting them up.
He's getting them up, man.
You know, I was looking at cleaning the glass, just what do you call it? Just like the offensive accuracy, shooting accuracy.
Yeah.
For the Thunder. I was surprised how close Giddey is to Shea in the mid-range.
Yeah.
Like in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's been out, and so he doesn't have a ton of shots from there. But yeah, I was just kind of impressed. Like from the short mid-range, Shea's in the 79th percentile, Giddey's in the 76th percentile. Long mid-range, Shea 62nd percentile, Giddey 60th percentile. Just in the mid-range overall, 77th percentile for both. Both are shooting 44%.
That's wild.
Isn't that kind of wild? Because we think of Shea as like, wow, he's really developing that mid-range game.
Assassin. Yeah.
Yeah, and he needs to have that as part of his game. And Giddey's like right there with him.
Yeah, that is crazy. He's
now
got
Giddey
around the rim. Not around the rim, but like in like the outside the restricted area. Like he's pretty good.
Yeah. Now the difference is when you get to the rim. Like Shea is in the 67th percentile, shooting 62% at the rim. Giddey's in the 29th percentile, shooting 57%. Yeah. But I wasn't even looking for it this morning, but I just happened to notice. I was like, oh, that's pretty good. You know who's really good in the mid range is probably because he hasn't taken any shots there. Aaron Wiggins. He's the real mid range assassin, Andrew.
That's his game, though. Like that was him at Maryland. Just the mid range guy. So. Free throw attempts. Total free throw attempts.
Okay, Sabonis.
Let me see where Sabonis is. Sabonis, this will surprise you. He's actually 8th.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was all second half of the season.
It must have been.
Well, Russ has to be 1.
Russ is number 1 by a mile again. 428.
Was Harden racking up free throw attempts yet?
He's number 2, 240.
Okay. I'm guessing Giddey's there.
That. Giddey is 6th. He's taken 70.
He would have been up there.
Yeah, he would have been.
Man, there haven't been a ton of Thunder rookies that get to the line. Who is it? I don't even know. Trey?
No, a couple big guys. Trey is 7th.
Oh, big guys. That makes sense. So probably not Serge though.
Serge is 5th, 95.
Is he? Okay.
Not a lot.
Yeah. Mitch?
Where is Mitch on this? He's 18th. He took 40 free throws.
Oh, okay. Who is it? Who's the other big guy?
Steven Adams, 136.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah. Some other notable names on here. Jeremy Lamb took 14 free throws his rookie season. Even worse, like Terrence Ferguson, who did play a lot, took 10 free throws. Cole Aldrich, who didn't get a huge shot his rookie season, only took 4. And then, yeah, that's really it. That's notable. Okay, total rebounds for a rookie.
So I bet Russ is up there.
Russ is number 2, 399.
Steve-O is probably 1.
Steve-O is number 4, 332.
Ibaka?
Ibaka's number 3, 397.
Wow, number 1 Who is number 1 in rebounds for Thunder rookies all time?
All time.
All time Thunder rookies?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it would be Sabonis.
Sabonis is 288.
Okay. I'm going to see if the chat knows. Chat, shout it out. Shout it out, chat, if you know it.
Do you know it?
Who's the big guy I'm not thinking
like,
of? It has.
Is this like phone a friend?
Yes, this is like phone a friend. Man, I can't even think of another big man rookie. BJ Mullins.
Byron, don't call me BJ. Where is he? I mean, he can't be high on this list.
Oh.
He wasn't a
Is
rookie.
it
Was he? With the Thunder? Yeah, he was. Sorry.
What about Bays? Bays.
Bays is number 7, 246.
Benjamin Seth the Beat was not a rookie on our team.
Was not a rookie. Definitely not a rookie.
Thankfully, he was not a rookie on this team.
Byron Mullins had 10 total rebounds.
What?
His rookie season. Yeah.
10?
In 13 games. Yeah.
Ooh, Reese Kimsey says Dakari Johnson.
Dakari Johnson in 31 games had 34 rebounds.
Who is it? Oh, no, it can't be Jeff Green. Augusto, because Jeff Green was on the Sonics.
He was on the Sonics.
Giddey, duh. Oh,
Josh Giddey, 421. Yep.
Multiple people had been saying Giddey, and I just wasn't even reading it.
Yeah, Josh.
Yeah, Teo.
Where's
okay,
Teo?
well, yeah, that makes sense.
Teo's probably higher on the list than he needs to be. What about just offensive rebounds?
I bet Giddey's up there.
He's number 4. He's got 98.
Giddey, Russ, Steve.
Russ is number 1, 178. That's wild. Steve is number 2, 142.
And Ibaka.
Ibaka's 138. He's number 3. And then number 5 is actually JRE.
Piki Ibaka.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty crazy. Assists.
Russ, Giddey.
Russ is number 1, 435. Giddey is number 2, 345.
Harden.
James Harden's number 5, 137.
Did you say Harden was 5?
Mm-hmm.
Teo,
227.
There we go.
Maybe we weren't like the biggest idiots in the world talking about him. Sure feels like it.
No, dude, this is one of the reasons why, like, even with that game with Trey, I'm just like trying not to get too high because someone has to score the points. Someone has to get the assists. Like,
yeah, especially with that team last year. Like, that was a definitely someone has to score the points team.
You throw 5 guys on the court in any NBA game, they're probably going to score 85 points. And it's not all going to be from ISOs. Like,
they're going to get to 100. Yeah.
Somebody's going to put up counting stats. And last year, it was Teo. Like, because the percentages weren't good, but he was putting up counting stats.
Mm-hmm.
And the same thing with Bays. Like, that was the thing with Bays last year and why I was not as high on his end of season run.
Yeah.
Because he was putting up stats.
I agree.
And there were people sharing, like, from StatHead, like, the number of guys who are 21 and under who have scored 15 and 7 over like a long period of time. And it's like all great players. And it's like, yeah, like he's putting up those stats. I'm not denying that. But like, I did not believe it. And this version of Bays, like, I mean, actually he's been very productive recently, but it feels much different from what he was doing at the end of last season. Last season he was playing like an alpha, you know, like he was,
and
he could because there was no one else on the team. Yeah,
there were a lot of things with Bays last year where you watched him and you're like, that's not repeatable. Like, that performance is not repeatable.
Yeah,
and he's doing some things this year where you're like, okay, I can see where that could lead to like a career for you. You know, last year I didn't feel that way either.
Yeah, even when he's been putting up some of these 20-point games, it's like, okay, like nothing there was like that crazy.
Yeah. I mean, he was a quiet 22 against the Celtics. I don't remember a whole lot that he did. I mean, I think he's averaging 22 points over the last like 5 or 6 games. I mean,
I will tell you, over his last 6 games, he is averaging 22.
Yeah.
His rebounds are down 6. He's had 2 1-rebound games.
Yeah, that's been weird.
That is weird. Shooting 37% from 3 on 7 attempts per game. By the way, 3-point attempts per game. I was thinking about this with Shea
Mm-hmm.
because in that first half,
Oh boy,
it was bad.
it was.
And-
He took a ton. He took a ton of bad shots.
And they were bad because, like, the defense, the Celtics defense was just collapsing on him every single time with like 3 guys. And in this case, it's even worse because they're like such a good team. Like
Yeah.
they're so good defensively. And so he's just running into this wall over and over again. Not anything. Like over and over again. Just drive after drive after drive. None of them are working. He's getting turnovers or he's just airballing like shots at the rim.
Right.
It's so bad. Then he comes out in the second half. All of a sudden, he's like, "Oh, I'm going to shoot some mid-range jumpers. I'm going to take some threes now," and just everything opened up for him. In addition to that, like Boston was not defending him like as aggressively as they did in the first half for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So things got a little easier for him there.
Mhm.
It just made me think like I would like to see, and part of this is because there's no good shooters on this team.
Yeah.
Like outside of Mann that we trust, and obviously if they were playing like Kenrich and Mike Muscala, but
Mhm.
there's just no good shooters on this team, and for Shea to only be taking like 4 a game, it just feels like a missed opportunity. As good as he is at driving, like down the line, I would just love for him to be shooting more threes per game.
Yeah. It's just hard
Like-
for him to find good attempts, though.
Like, I'm going to read you something, okay?
Okay.
This is all the guards, the best scoring guards in the league.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll do the top 15 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how many threes they take per game.
Mm-hmm.
Young, 7.8. Luka, 8.7. Kyrie, 7.5. DeMar, weirdo, 1.9.
1.9
Per
is
game.
wild. Yeah.
Ja, also a weirdo and similar to Shea in that he's driving all the time, 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
Tatum, 8.7. Donovan Mitchell, 10. Devin Booker, 7.1. Steph, 11.7. Zach LaVine, 7.1. Shea, 5.3. He's taking the same amount as like Bradley Beal, which we've actually talked about. Bradley Beal is kind of like a comp for him before. But I don't know, like with Ja only taking 4.5 threes, I feel better about it because they have like Desmond Bane. They have Jaren Jackson Jr., like who isn't actually shooting that well from 3, but like they have guys who you trust way more as shooters.
Yeah.
And until this team has shooters, until they show any interest in starting to get shooters on this team, I just wonder long term, does Shea need to start should he be a guy that takes 7 threes per game? Because I trust his shot,
Yeah.
even though he's shooting like 30% this year, but he's obviously been much better since he came back from injury.
The only problem with that is it doesn't help their offense that much. Like he's got to like get into the offense they want to get to. He's got to put pressure on the rim and then spray out. Like that's what their offense, that's like the design of their offense is for somebody to be driving. It's not all just like Shea loving to drive. Like it's a part of what they want to do is that
there's no spraying against the Celtics
to initiate. I know. And he did a great job though finishing, and so did Trey. Like they both had some insane finishes around the basket. Trey, when he would get to the basket, he threw the ball high off the rim, I think maybe 3 times. Like once against Derek White where he got the and one, and then I think he did it twice against Horford. Those were insane. And then Shea has just been outrageous once he gets to the basket. Like he just finishes in ways like with his left hand where you're just like, how is he doing that? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, I mean, he finished with a great game. Like his stat line looks incredible. It's just so funny because the start of that game was awful.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he was 4 for 12 at some point, and it wasn't from missing threes. I think he made his 1 3 in the first half. It was all from just those drives. I don't know. He obviously puts a ton of pressure on opposing defenses as it is. And maybe this gets back to the idea of once this team is healthy, try to find him a couple catch and shoot threes per game. Maybe that's all it is.
Yeah. When Josh is out there, they're going to find him 2 or 3 per game. where he's gonna be all alone. But like right now, like one, who are you trusting to find him? Like Trey's a decent passer. Like the defense is like the only thing the defense cares about is Shea. And that's partly why Trey had like the opportunity that he did, is that they were just letting, Derek White or whoever just go one-on-one with Trey, and he just cooked him all night.
Yeah.
It's because they were worried about Shea. So, okay, all-time points, and then we could be done.
All-time points, Russ.
Russ number 1, 1256.
Giddey is probably top 5.
He's number 3, 674.
Harden number 2.
Harden's number 2, 753.
Adams?
Steven Adams number 8. No. That's Abrinas. Steven Adams, where is he? 15.
Oh no. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I take that back. What about well, I guess Teo.
Teo's number 4.
Ugh. It's just
658.
His presence makes me less excited about all these lists, Andrew. Number 5 is it Trey?
It's Trey. Yeah. 589. Okay. And then number 3 is Josh. So the top 3 in scoring: Russ, Harden, Josh.
What do you think happened with Teo? Because even like he should have those. Obviously, it's not the same opportunities because Shea is there, Trey is there now, but like he's getting minutes.
Yeah.
What changed?
He got more swole. I know that. That's one thing that changed.
You think he's too ripped? He's too jacked.
Maybe he's too jacked. He got real jacked.
Wow. They used to talk about that with like Tiger Woods. Like he's too big now. So you're saying Taylor's just too big.
That's a theory I'm going to just put out there.
He's too yoked.
I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of it does seem to be confidence. There were 2 like just outrageous air balls in that game. One from Teo, the other from Baisley. When Baisley, I don't know if you saw this one and if you could see how crazy it was on TV, but when Baisley shot it, you knew when it was like 2 feet out of his hands, like, oh no, like where is this gonna go? Because it was like 4 feet from the rim, like to the right.
That's how I felt about that that Poku 3 at the end of the Magic game. The second it was out of his hands, I was like, that is short.
Yeah,
by a significant margin.
There ain't no way. Yeah,
dude, can we talk about Poku real quick? Because I tweeted out that he's the real lever, because I was on cleaning the glass.
Oh my gosh, can we take a quick break before we get there?
Oh yeah, let's build it up.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. And we're back from that quick break. Al, it's time to talk about Poku.
Okay, so Poku overall on the team, on-off numbers, obviously Kenrich number 1. This is all cleaning the glass. They're filtering out garbage time, of which there's probably a lot.
I was going to say.
Although
primarily garbage time.
Yeah, I don't know what they count, what the specific number, like points difference they count as garbage time. Because like that Celtics game felt like garbage time, but it really wasn't. Like they were kind of in that game till the end.
Right.
Anyways, Kenrich plus 14.2. We knew that. Mike Muscala plus 11.6. This is on the season. And by the way, that's 97th percentile for Kenrich, 96th percentile for Mike Muscala.
Yeah.
Ty Jerome plus 9.7, 93rd percentile.
Yep.
Poku. Shea is not next. It is not Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. No, it is Alexei Pokusevsky, plus 6.5, 85th percentile in the league. And
it's been rising too. Like he was at like 0.5 for a long time, and he's been positive for a while. And
so
and
this was
recently
best exemplified by that Magic game, which is one of the funniest stat lines I've ever seen. 3 of 20 plus 17 in a 5-point loss.
Yeah, that was weird.
Like wild stuff. 1 of 10 from 3. Like objectively, one of his worst games in terms of scoring the ball of the season. Probably his worst game, but he was a plus 17 in a 5-point loss. And I was trying to figure out, like, how is this even possible? Like, what is going on right now with Poku? The only thing I could figure out, because on cleaning the glass, you can look at on-off for very specific aspects of the team. Like you can say, okay, when Poku's on the court, does their half-court offense get better? No, it doesn't. It actually gets worse. Their half-court offense gets significantly worse. They're minus 2.4 points per 100 plays.
Yeah.
So what is it? It's transition. But it's not even like all transition. It's specifically transition plays that come off of steals.
Mm-hmm.
So points per play. So when the Thunder get a steal and Poku is on the court, if you played that out 100 times compared to the other guys on the team, or compared to when he's not on the court, they are plus 31 points per play, which is 94th percentile. If you do points per possession, plus 2 points per 100 possession, which doesn't sound like a lot, that's 98th percentile.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's clearly a very good transition player for the Thunder, and when they get a lot of steals, it really shows up. So I went back to that Magic game. They had 13 steals, which was the second most steals of this season.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, there, I solved it. They got a ton of steals. But then I looked at points off of turnovers. They had 6. They had 6 points off of 13 turnovers. So it wasn't even like they were super efficient. So I'm back at like, I have no idea what's going on with Poku. But he is doing something. He's tickling the little algorithm for cleaning the glass. They love him over there. And that's why we need to sit him tonight.
He's been better. He's been better.
Oh, he for sure has been better. I mean, that Magic game was like objectively not good, even though the single game plus minus was like, oh, he's looking really nice here.
Yeah.
And he had some nice moments in that game, obviously. Like he had that awesome assist, and I think he had 5 assists total.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the game against the Celtics, like, yeah, he's back to his normal self. We feel like it's normal now. Like he's looking good.
Yeah.
I don't know what to think. I still don't really know what to think about it, and I'm really excited to see him in Summer League.
Gotta play him in Summer League. This is another do the right thing scenario for the Thunder. It's like, do the right thing. Play him in Summer League. Come on.
You got to play him in Summer League. We could potentially have a really cool Summer League team, a really fun one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or it could be hugely disappointing, like when Giddey twisted his ankle on like the second play.
Trey Mann, AJ Griffin. Yeah. It's gonna be great.
But yeah, I'm just kind of interested in Poku, and so now I'm like, oh, I got to pay attention on every transition play, because I mean, to be fair, like when you think of Poku being successful in your brain,
yeah,
the like image that's burned in my brain is him running down the court and doing a finger roll. That is like his signature play in my mind right now. Sure. And so maybe that's what it is. I mean, he always seems to make those shots. Like every time he's taking a finger roll in transition, it seems to go in.
Yeah, there was even a play against the Celtics where he just created a transition play out of what really wasn't one.
Yeah.
You know? Top 3 lineups for Poku in possessions, and he doesn't have like a high number of possessions with anybody. There's like a billion different lineups here with Poku. Number 1, only 98 possessions, Shea, Trey Mann, Baisley, Poku, Roby, plus 17.3.
Yeah.
Teo, Lindy Waters, Vit Krejci, Poku, Olivier Sarr. In 53 possessions. Guess what?
What was that? Negative 90.
Plus 29.
What? Dude. Yeah, I was rewatching the game this morning, thinking I was going to be drawn to Trey because I just wanted to watch that again.
Yeah.
But I found myself just fascinated by Vit.
Okay.
By Vit Krejci.
Did not see this coming. Did not see this coming at all.
So, like, offensively, I kind of like him.
Okay.
Like,
what do you like about him? I need somebody to talk me into him because I'm just not there.
Well, for one, I just feel like he's always active, and this is going to come up as a negative when I talk about his defense. But he's like always active on offense.
Yeah,
he seems to know what he's doing. He's moving the ball. Like I just, yes, he's just a very nice little cog. And then he can shoot. Like he's sadly one of the better shooters on the team right now.
It's just something about his shot I just don't trust, though.
But then defensively, which is because he had like a nice transition play, and I was like, oh, that was a good job by him.
Mhm.
Very next play, he's guarding Derek White, who's in the corner.
Yeah.
He sags off. He leaves him to go double Daniel Tice in the post. And I was like, wait, why is he doing that? And then I started paying attention to him more on defense. He is a mess on defense. And it's so funny because part of the problem with him defensively is he wants to do too much. He is like so active defensively. He is running around trying to guard everyone at once. And as a result, he's not guarding anyone most of the time.
Yeah.
And when he like closes out on someone, like he's always like lunging like just a little too far and always gets caught on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
Like he is not good defensively, which works out for the tank right now. But I will say, offensively, he's doing some things compared to some of these other guys.
Sure. Yeah. I just feel like he's still slower than what he was in Europe, and he's not as athletic. I think that's probably some of it, is that he's still kind of adjusting to the game. One, he's adjusting to the NBA game. Two, he is adjusting to the NBA game while adjusting to like his new knee as well.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm not like, oh, Vit's going to be a long-term piece here.
Yeah.
I would just say that once you get past the obvious guys like Trey and Shea and Poku, I thought Vit's kind of entertaining.
I am impressed that you have any thoughts past those guys. Like,
oh man, there was a play that cracked me up. He kind of got straight in no man's land. There was a guy in the corner that he should be guarding, or a guy like above the break, and he was right in between them. Didn't know which guy to go towards, so he just waved both of his hands, like praying that they were about to extend. His arms would extend, and he could somehow guard both of these guys. He's directly in the middle of them, not guarding either one, and just kind of waving his hands both ways.
Yeah,
those are the type of things I'm looking for these days, Andrew, just to keep me going.
Yeah. No, I mean, for me, like, Trey was enough. Vit is one of the guys that I sit and talk with whoever's next to me, and I'm like, what do you see? Like, tell me what you like about him. Like, what do we like? He's the things that I like about Vit specifically is that he just understands spacing really, really well on the court.
Well, and that's the thing. Like, at this part of the season, there are so many guys you could bring on this team on a 10-day who would be just as bad, but would actually like not help you develop anything offensively.
Yeah.
Because they just wouldn't know what they should be doing.
Yeah.
Whereas like Vit, also not great, but he at least like you can just slot him in and kind of pretend to run an offense.
Yeah.
And sometimes it sort of looks like a real offense.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think they're going to see what he does in Summer League and see what he does next year. And I think, I don't know. I don't know if he sticks around or not. To me,
I don't have high hopes. It's more just like, oh, I had some thoughts about Vit for the first time in my life. Got to share them.
Oh man. Looking at the reverse standings on Tankathon, the Thunder sit. They're 20 and 52. By the way, where do you think their win total is going to be?
So let me shout out this person. I believe their name is OKC Thunder Cover.
Okay.
They made a little Excel sheet, Excel file, looking at all the bad teams. So Portland, Indiana, Kings, Thunder, Orlando, Detroit, Houston, and all their games for the rest of the season, and then highlighted in green the games they have against one of those other teams. So with OKC, for instance, we have 4 left. So we got Orlando, at Portland, Detroit, Portland. So I thought this was very helpful, though, because I looked at this and was able to be like, okay, like that's not probably going to happen. Like they have 2 of these games left, at OKC, at Indiana. The rest of their games, like Philly, Milwaukee, Dallas, Philly, Brooklyn, Knicks, Washington, Atlanta, Maybe they get one of these first couple against those East playing teams like Atlanta, Washington, Knicks. But I don't have high hopes that Detroit's going to lose a ton of games the rest of the season. And once they didn't lose that game the other night, which was unbelievable.
It was crazy, especially after some of the teams that they beat, because Detroit has been on this run where I think everybody, and you know what? I blame Thunder Twitter for that specific result, because everybody had been talking about, they just banked it. They banked the Portland win.
How would you not only, like, I get they had
You just
like
don't
Jeremy
say it out
Grant
loud, Al. You just don't say it out loud. You don't tweet it. You don't put the words in. Don't do it.
And like, again, this is the end of the season. We shouldn't care. But if I was a Pistons fan, I'd be like happy, obviously, that they lost. But at the same time, I'd be like, how many of these young guys are real if we're losing to this Portland team with all of our young guys healthy? Like, Cade played, Killian Hayes played, Isaiah Stewart played, Sadiq Bey played. Like, all of their good young players were playing in that game. All of those players you would take over anyone, any soul on the Portland Trailblazers team that they rolled out there.
Yeah.
And they got down by 20 in that game.
Yeah,
they were down by 20, and then they made it a game. But once that game happened, I'm like, okay, Detroit's out. Orlando similarly only has 2 of these games left, tonight against OKC, and then the Kings. The rest of their games at Cleveland, at Washington, Toronto, Knicks, Cleveland, at Charlotte, Miami. Not like a murderer's row, but also like they're probably going to start sitting guys more aggressively. So like for OKC to pass Orlando, they have to lose tonight. And then they have to get like maybe one more win, which I think is going to be tough to only get one win, because those Portland games are going to be very tough to lose.
So their over-under is 23. Where do you think they'll be?
I'm actually feeling positive about that, because they're only at 20 right now, right?
Yeah, they're at 20.
Yeah, so that would require them probably winning all 4 of those games, because their other games at Denver, that's a loss. Atlanta, Phoenix, that's a loss. At Utah, that's a loss. At the Lakers, please, has to be a loss.
They're still trying, you know.
Right. And then at the Clippers, that should be a loss. There's no tanking this year, Clippers. So that would require them to win all 4 of those tank wars, which I have to assume they don't win all 4.
So hope to God they don't.
I would guess, if I'm being realistic, I would say they're going to end up at 22 wins.
Yeah, I think
they're going to win a Portland game, at least one of those, and then maybe they beat like Detroit or something.
Yeah. I can't remember where we were at on their over-unders preseason. I know I was under. I can't remember where everybody else was. But they're going to get under again. They will.
It's interesting now, though, because Sabonis is out for the Kings. He's going to be out the rest of the year.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, like, they are now we can consider them like a bad team night to night. I mean, they've been a bad team, but now they're like definitely a bad team.
Yeah.
And they play a few of these teams. Like that next game at Orlando is going to be a big one. They also have back-to-back, or it's not a back-to-back, but they play at Houston on the 30th and then at Houston again on the 1st. I wish I could get excited about Houston, but I just can't.
Yeah. They won.
And then I'm just fascinated to see what happens with Portland. The thing I think is going to help Portland is that Indiana, for whatever reason, just has nights where they look fine.
Mm-hmm.
They only have 2 games left, though, against bad teams. They play Sacramento and Detroit at home. All the rest of their games are tough, and like legit tough. Memphis, Toronto, Denver, Boston, Philly, Brooklyn, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Portland might be screwed. And if Portland ends up in the 7th spot, and they're already 2 wins ahead of Indiana.
Yep.
And that's with those back-to-back this weekend against Houston at home. Then OKC. They have 3 games in 4 days. Houston, OKC. Like, if they somehow got through that 0-3, that would be like one of the more impressive tank things this season.
Yeah.
I think they're screwed, though. Like, and I'm pissed. I'm not even a Blazers fan. I'm pissed. I was about to say I would be pissed. I am pissed.
Mm-hmm.
It's so dumb.
Yeah, I would be furious about that Pistons win. I would be
like, if I was a Blazers fan and Mark Schindler released that article this morning about Trenton Watford, about how good he's playing, I would blow a gasket. The fact that there is a player good enough on this team for Mark Schindler to care about and to write about, I would be just going insane.
It's just not okay. Yeah, it's
Not okay.
It's
There should not be any players that people are paying attention to and getting
Yeah.
excited about right
Yeah,
now.
they've got no real young guys that you're just trying to develop. Like that whole team is a G League squad. Like the entire thing. I mean, it is a G League team playing in Portland right now.
And so now, like, this can swing so wildly because we've talked about it. Like, if they're going to try to make moves where they keep Dame this summer,
Yeah.
like, they're only good assets because they can't trade any future first. Maybe they can trade one this summer, but it would be out like 2030. So I don't even think they could. It's going to be their own pick, which right now is slotted in the 7th spot. And then whatever happens with the Pelicans, if the Pelicans make the playoffs and Portland goes into the summer with only one pick and it's in a average to below average draft and it's like 7 or 8, like they're screwed. Like that's where I start thinking about trading Dame, because how are you building a team around that? Like, I guess it's funny. There's been the rumors that like they're going to be very aggressive going after Jeremy Grant.
Yeah.
And that's actually a deal where I think Detroit's excited. Like if you got the 7th or 8th pick for Jeremy Grant, like you're doing backflips.
Yeah, you'd think that it would be like that 10th or 11th pick or whatever it's going to be.
Yeah. So like, okay, maybe they can get that deal done. And then maybe they just bring back Josh Hart. But like, I'm not taking that team over any of the top 4 in the West right now. I'm not taking them over healthy Denver, healthy Clippers. So now you're at the 7th spot. You're in the play-in. Like, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point of all this?
It feels like they're shuffling everything around to have about the same team they had before. Like about the same caliber of team they had before.
I know. And that's why, like, if that happens, if they end up, even if, honestly, if they ended up with getting both of those picks, like, what a great restart to a rebuild if you did trade Dame and you're going into this draft with 2 like lottery picks, and then whatever you get for Dame, like that's an awesome head start.
Yes.
On a rebuild, but they're not going to do it.
No. I would absolutely trade Dame. Like you might be able to get Sacramento's pick. Like I don't know if Sacramento would want Dame or if they would be willing even to trade Dame there. But you know, if you're trying to get a high pick, you know, there's options there.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It's they wiggled out of the middle to wiggle right back in, which is just
it's crazy how like even in a tanking, they're like in the middle of the tanking season.
Yeah.
Like, how is that possible? They are tanking harder than I've ever seen a team tank, and they can't, and they're not doing it.
Yeah. Well, they just did too late. They just did it
They
too
did it
late.
way too late.
And
this is what you get. This is what you get.
The initial trade actually helped them. They were pretty good for a minute. I remember we were talking about them making the play-in. You know,
yeah, and like, oh, should Dame just come back just to see how it works with Simons? Yeah, I know.
Yeah. And it's it's
all of this is to say, like, I'm feeling pretty good about OKC because of what's happened with Indiana, and Sacramento. Like, we're not winning 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
We're not getting to 25 wins. So, like, at worst, we're going to be the 4th, and so it just feels like all upside. Like, I'm kind of jacked for this game tonight. Yeah. Because even if we do end up winning, it's like, oh, that was fun though. That was fun. There's like not too much downside there.
Yeah, I've been saying for a while, I think they're going to end up in the 4th spot. Like I think that's the most likely scenario. 4th spot, they'll fall to 5th on lottery night. They'll take AJ Griffin. That's what's going to happen. That's my official prediction. Or maybe Shaden Sharp. Maybe because Shaden's Canadian, they'd rather have him. But yeah, that's definitely
that'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it'd be kind of fun. He's somebody that you can at least get yourself excited about a little bit. Just he's such a mystery man. Like, what if he came into the summer league and just destroyed it? You'd be like, oh, this is great. That'd be fun. Oh man,
I'm just. Oh, never mind. I was trying to share something, but I couldn't figure it out. Man, I would like that just to get all the Raptors fans miffed and peeved, because then we'd have 3 Canadians.
3 Canadians. Yep.
And if Shaden Sharp turned into a really good player, then they would just be, they'd be so angry.
Raptors,
all of those guys.
Raptors West. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be a fun team if he ended up being good, because the Thunder do need a wing. And that's where, like, if things don't go well, like, there's a couple wings. And I just have to believe Shaden Sharp's going to be in this draft. Like, to me, I just can't come up with the argument that makes sense for him to stay.
Yeah, man. Especially like, I don't know, seeing Kentucky lose in the first round.
Yeah, seeing them lose, it's like, okay, what am I
Like, who
going back to?
cares?
Like, Coach Cal feels like he's kind of lost it a little bit. Like, he's still good at recruiting, obviously, but like,
Hey, did he
basketball-wise,
ever have it, Andrew? Did he ever have it?
it's a great question. The only times that his teams have done real well is when they were just like so stacked that they just have to win. Yeah, I would not. You're not going to get enough money, NIL money. You just need to enter the draft, because if he had a bad year, if he had like, a Jaden Hardy year in the G League, like, you're screwed. You're absolutely screwed. You're gonna go and you might go in like the 20s, which is where Hardy's gonna go. You have any thoughts on any of these other draft guys? We talked about the top guys a lot. We're obviously both Chet guys. You have any thoughts about anybody else? Are you watching anybody else?
The only thing I've been thinking about was, we talked about Jalen Duren last week.
Yeah.
Does the fact that you have other serviceable centers in the range of that Clippers pick, whether it's Walker Kessler or it's Mark Williams?
Yeah.
Like, does that change how you feel at all about taking Duren? Because I saw a good comp for Duren that I finally one I liked, because you hear people saying Dwight Howard, just mostly because of the body, but I don't know, he doesn't feel like Dwight Howard to me.
People forget how awesome Dwight Howard was.
Yeah, and then the other thing people will say is Bam, which Bam gets comp to every single big ever.
It's not a fair comp,
and like
for anybody.
Not a fair comp. But then I saw someone say Robert Williams. I was like, you know what? I kind of like that.
Robert Williams is real good.
He is good. And if you could go back to Robert Williams' draft and get a player like that at the 6th or 7th pick, you would have done it.
Yeah.
And you'd probably still do that if you knew it was that player.
Sure.
So like, I get the value there, but at the same time, I'm like, is it that big of a drop off? Just wait and get a center in the middle of the first round, or even not get a center. Like, I would just rather take the upside of a wing in this case. Even though I thought like Jalen Duren, like, he was solid in that game against Gonzaga, like had some really nice moments. He was good in the first game. Like, I get the idea of him.
Yeah.
But I'm just I guess I want to know what the argument is to take a non-shooting center specifically over one of these other wings. Now, if you're at like 8 or 9, then I'm starting to be like, there's not really anyone I even like at this point.
Who cares?
But
I mean, the Thunder, if they stay at 4, they're not going to be at 9. But yeah, I think part of the argument is that Jalen Duren is 2 years younger than Mark Williams, like a full 2 years younger. And same with Kessler. I'm not huge on Kessler. I don't know what he's going to be at the NBA level, but he's not the kind of big that I would want. I want somebody a little bit more versatile. And Duren's not like offensively the most versatile guy, but he's at least athletic enough where you feel like, okay, like maybe if he learns the game real well, he could, be a little bit more switchy than those two. So I don't know. I like Duren. But I'm with you. I would rather have Shaden Sharp or AJ Griffin, or maybe even Johnny Davis. I might rather have. So I'd rather have a wing or some sort of offensive initiator. Keegan Murray is also a little bit more intriguing to me in ways. He's quite a bit older than all the guys that I mentioned, but I don't know. I mean, he'll be 22, I think, when he enters the league. If you look at like the Thunder drafted Cole Aldrich when he was 22. They drafted Campaign when he was 21. Reggie Jackson was 21. Perry Jones was 21. I don't know. And they didn't draft the guys that they drafted high in the draft. Like they're all 20. Russ is 20. James Harden was a sophomore, but he was 20. Same with Westbrook. So they're quite a bit younger. And then the only guys that the Thunder have ever drafted as teenagers, the list is Josh Giddey was 19, Teo was 19, Poku was 19, Baisley 19, Ferg 19. So, and all recent picks too. So you just wonder. I don't know. Alex is gone. He's having some internet troubles. So we will end it here. Thanks so much for listening to the pod. Hope you guys enjoy the game tonight. Do the right thing, Thunder. Do the right thing. And if you're wondering what the right thing is sitting Shea and sitting anybody else that you need to get this loss. So do the right thing.